Welcome in. Welcome in. Okay. Kelly, Heidi, Nicole, welcome. We are going to just give everyone 1 minute to get started, and then we're going to dive into this. In the chat, in the webinar chat, tell me where you are in the world. Tell me what you do for a living. So as you're coming in, welcome everyone. Just tell me where you are in the world, what you do for a living, what brought you here today. And then we're going to get started because we have absolutely no time to waste. This is going to be 90 action-packed minutes around profitable prospecting. I can't wait to share this with you. Kelly, welcome. Okay, Yuval, welcome. Good to have you here. Dan, Dave, Aaron, amazing. Okay, we're going to get started right now. If you have questions, I'll talk about this in a second. If you have questions as I'm going through the content today, and you have questions about the content, please pop them in the Q&A section of the webinar. That really helps me keep track of the questions. If you want to talk about your reactions to the content, things you're excited for, put them in the chat here. But questions, pop them in the Q&A. Okay, and we're going to get started right now. So hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you here. Let me make sure that we are actually recording, because that would kind of suck if I wasn't. Oh, we're recording. Okay, cool. All right, here we go. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Laura Khalil, and my mission is to help consultants earn 20K plus months in their business. I've been a consultant for the last decade, and I've worked with some of the clients, actually all of the clients you see here on this list. I've worked with some of the largest brands in the world, and I've worked with a lot of smaller brands as well. And today I help people just like you grow their businesses with bigger clients. And these are some of the clients that my clients work with or have pitched and consulted. So a lot of my clients work with really big clients, higher paying clients at very high levels. But I just want to tell you that even if you don't want to go after clients that are in the Fortune 500 or Fortune 100 or even Fortune 1000, if you want to go smaller, you absolutely can do that. There is a world of higher paying clients available to you, and what you're going to learn today is going to help you whether you want to go after the really big fish or just bigger fish than what you go after today, okay? So on our agenda today, we're going to talk first about your goals, understanding the role that target market plays in hitting your goals, the target market who will help you reach that goal, okay? Validating your market, and identifying who to reach out to. Yeah, we're going to do this in 90 minutes. So giddy up. Here we go. Like I said, put your questions in the Q&A. I'm not going to go into more preamble about me or any of that stuff. This is not a sales pitch. This is really a training module. So have your pens out, or if you're going to be writing stuff on your computer, do it on your computer, because we're about to get started. Okay. If you see me looking over here, it's because I have multiple screens going. It's a real setup I got here today. Okay, here we go. So the first thing we're going to do is look at your current landscape. And so for me to understand who is in this room, I would like you to share in the chat your answers. So this helps me sort of know how to direct some of the content. All right. So are you ready? We're going to have our pens out. We're going to write some of this stuff in the chat so that I can help best serve you. What are you currently earning a year? We want to talk about what are we currently earning a year. Okay, cool. The next question we want to go to, how much are you currently working? How many hours a week are you currently working? Okay, cool. So got it. That's okay. No problem. Whether you're starting, you're already established, it's all good. Whatever you're doing, all good. Okay, great. And thank you for your answers. That actually helps me quite a bit. Cool. What is the biggest problem you feel you have in your business? Please pop this in the chat. What's the biggest problem you think you have? Leads. Okay. We're going to resolve that today. We're going to make some big headway in that today. What's the biggest problem you think you have in your business? Where to go next and how to scale? Too much work and not enough time. 100K-ish, under 40 hours a week. Who to cold email. Yep, we're going to talk about that. Identifying prospects that are ready to actually work on innovation strategy, inability to talk about my value, around 100K a year, 10 to 15 hours a week, moving from continued work with existing clients and finding new out of network clients. Yep, so more cold outreach. We'll talk about that. Leads who can afford me. My old target market was small businesses and it was unsustainable. Preach, Aaron. We're going to talk all about that. No email list. Okay. That is a problem. Okay, but don't worry. Hopefully today will give you some ideas. Hey, thanks everyone. All right, I think I've got, let's see, a couple more in here. Oh yeah, so these are some of the problems I often see. But some of you did not mention terrible clients. You did mention cheap clients. Overwhelm, I heard that. Is anyone facing really inconsistent revenue? I know for those who are just starting, obviously, like you're facing inconsistent revenue. Okay, yep, inconsistent revenue, yep. Most of you, if you've been following me for a while, you'll hear me talk a lot about the summer slump that we just are kind of exiting out of. For most consultants and service providers, the last, really from June up until last week is very, very hard. So I understand how it can feel like you're going through this roller coaster. If it's not already starting to get better for you, for a lot of my clients right now, this last week, things started to pick up. If that's not already happening, what you're going to learn today will give you some strategies to move forward. Okay, also framing and positioning. Work in a fairly consultative model without simple projects. Love it, but usually only sell to people who already trust me. Yes, people buy according to the amount of trust we earn with them. One of the things we're going to talk about today is talk a little bit about trust, how to earn more trust through the methodology I'm going to go through. Whoopsies. My competitors are huge, well-known and well-funded agencies. Nicole, I don't know if you know my story, but I want to address this because I just want to say personally, even if you are a little fish like you or I, you absolutely can be successful with big clients. I competed against big agencies all the time. And what they really loved was how it wasn't that bait and switch. Who here knows the agency model where they bring in all the big guns in the agency into a room to talk to the client? And then you know who does the work? The interns, the barely qualified people. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay. So when they work with you, they work with the best and they work personally with you and people pay for access to the best. So yes, I'm working with a Fortune 50 company, so I know it's possible. I'm trying to figure out how to leverage this client for more opportunities that are less high touch, more consulting. Okay, cool. Hey, thanks everyone. Okay, let's keep going. All right, I want to talk about your goals. So anytime I work with a client, whether it's in this venue or it's in my mastermind or privately, we need to know where we're headed because that's going to help determine how we move forward. We need to have a plan for how to move forward. All right, so I want you now to write down, what would you love to earn a month? Wherever you are now, approximately, what would you love to be earning a month? Where would you love to be? And it is the crazy hour in this household for the dogs. So they will eventually die down. I don't know if y'all can hear them, but they'll die down in a second. Okay, 12 to 15K a month. Very realistic. 20K plus a month, ideally. Yep. Don't see why you can't do it. Most of my clients are between 20 to 40K a month. A lot of them, some of them, they bring on a individual to help with certain responsibilities, but most are really, really small, meaning they keep most of the profit. 10K a month, 30K a month, 21 to 30, 10K consistent. I love this. 10K consistent and less than 30 hours a week is my first goal. Love it. Yeah, because what's the point of doing this if you're going to kill yourself in the process, right? You can earn, what's the point of earning 10K a month or 20K a month if you're working 60 or 70 hours a week? Great. Let's keep going. How many clients do you want a month? Because we're going to work back from these numbers into your ideal higher paying client target market. How many clients? So Damien, want 1 to 2, 5 to 8. That is, I'm just going to say, Nicole, that might be a lot. I don't know. I'm going to have to scroll up to see what you offer. Up to 5. Good. 1 to 2. Okay. Depends how you do business. Maybe you do business in a way that you can service that many clients without killing yourself. I hope you do. Okay, 4 to 5, 1 to 2 fixed / retainer plus 1 ad hoc. Great. And I'm going to tell you an example of a client I have that does exactly that, Dave. Focused innovation workshop. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. Thanks, Nicole. Focused innovation hours and bucket consulting hours. Yep. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Cool. All right. So in order to hit your goals, okay, so y'all have just written down your financial goals and how many clients you want to work with. Okay. So to hit your goals, this is the deal. Okay. This is the deal with getting 20K months. You pretty much need to charge retainer or project rate. If you are charging hourly, or if you are working with one-off clients, you are going to be constantly searching for more business. So ideally, the way you want to be thinking about your business right now is thinking about, what can I offer to a client consistently, month over month, kind of like what we see here in the comments, 1 to 2 fixed / retainers. What can you offer month over month and collect a fee from the client? This is how I get to $250 a year, is this model. This is how most people get to this model, because selling constantly is really, really exhausting. It doesn't mean that you're going to never sell again. It just means if you're constantly on the hunt, if you're constantly in feast or famine, we need to get into more of a retainer model. You can also do a project rate model depending on the type of work that we're dealing with, okay? Is that making sense for everyone? This is how you have to start thinking about your work, as opposed to just one-offs. You can do one-offs once in a while, but you can't do it all the time. This is if you want to make over 20K a month, okay? Very, very hard to get you there without killing yourself if you're not doing this. So you can have one client at 20K a month. That's what I liked to do when I was doing more of my consulting with Fortune 500. You can do 2 clients at 10K a month. That's another option. You can do 4 clients on a 5K a month retainer, or you can do some other kind of variation of this. So let me go back here. What are you thinking? When we go back to your financial goals and we go back to how much you want to work and how many clients you want to have, just nothing here. This is just a workshop. We're just working through some ideas right now. None of these are set in stone. What would be ideal for you? What would you love? Tell me in the chat. Just come up, what's your best idea? Are you like, yeah, like I think if I wanted to get to my monthly goal, I'd probably need X amount of clients at X amount of dollars a month. Okay. 3 clients at 10K each. Yep. What else do we have? We're just coming up with ideas. These ideas aren't set in stone. Retainers are hard for me based on my services. So what that might mean is you can continue to do project rate, you can continue to do what you're doing, or you can begin to think about, how can I offer a retainer model? Absolute ideal would be 4 workshops per month, 11K each, who do retainer bucket hours. Cool. Okay. 1 ghostwriting client, 5 coaching clients, and 10 to 20 students in my group program. Okay. 1 to do projects per month at 25K each. Okay, so we've got some ideas here. We've got some ideas. And so this is giving you a sense already. When we think about going after bigger clients, when we think about finding those higher paying target markets, this should be the wheels should be turning right now, thinking, okay, well, the people I'm working with, they're not going to do that. Or the people I'm working with might be perfect for this. Okay. We have to start thinking about, like, what is this? What has to be true? I want you to ask yourself, what has to be true in order to hit these numbers? What has to be true in my business? We're going to dive a lot more into this, but just getting the wheels turning. Okay, 1 more. 2K, 2 retainer clients at 8K, 1 to 2 hourly clients for 3 to 5K, and variety or learning. Okay, very good. Very good. I want to tell you about one of my clients. Dave, this might resonate with you. So I have a beauty marketing consultant that came into my business about a year ago. She's in my mastermind. She was starting her business with me. And what we did with her is, the way that she thought about this is, she said, well, I want to make 20K plus months. So she got a $14,000 a month retainer from a major brand. So that's what we would call like her anchor client. And then what she did next is she takes on smaller projects. Those smaller projects are between $7,000 and $14,000 each. So doing that kind of mix is what is able to get her to between $25,000 and $30,000 a month. The more clients you take on, I just want to say this for everyone, more clients you take on, the more work and management you're going to deal with. I want business to be easy for you. Business gets really easy when we work with bigger clients on who have bigger budgets, who really value what we offer. Things start to get a lot easier than having tons of clients we have to manage. All right. So what I want to do now, and I see that there's some stuff in the Q&A, I will be addressing that later on during we're going to do some sort of like working session periods here. I'll go to that in a minute, but I want to get through this. And we're going to have a lot of time at the end for Q&A as well. Maybe not a lot. We'll have some time. Okay. Higher paying target markets. I really want to share with you, this is from inside of my mastermind. This is stuff I only teach my private clients, but I want to show you what they know, which is how they're getting bigger contracts. Most of my clients are between 20 and 40,000 a month. This is what they know about doing this. Okay. I want to share just simple concept. Maybe this will be obvious to you, but I don't think it's going to be obvious to everyone. You are always going to be too expensive for the wrong target market. So if you are getting tons of objections to your pricing, if you put your pricing out and people gawk at it, if people ghost you, people hide from you, you are not talking to the right target market, period, end of story. If that is happening, that is a common theme, you got the wrong target market. Okay. I'd like to know, is that a common theme for anyone? Have you heard, do people gawk at your pricing? Is anyone struggling with this? People saying yes. Because when you're working with the right client, you are going to be fairly priced. The right clients are not going to fight you on your fees. That is your target market, okay? They're not going to fight you, but if we're having trouble getting there, we might not be working with the right people. And the last thing I want to bring up is I want you to consider that many people are worried about being too expensive for their target market when they should consider that they might be too cheap. Because if you are too cheap for a target market, you are not going to look like a serious option. This is what I would refer to as our aspirational target markets. These are people that maybe you don't feel like, well, could I really work with them? Could I really do this? And it might be something that you have to work up to over time to feel more confident and build confidence to want to work with those markets. But if I went into a Fortune 500 company, and at the time we were charging, or the company I was working with was charging a client $100,000 a quarter, $100,000 a quarter for this was 10 years ago, guys, for, I think it was 8 social media posts and someone to design them. If I'd gone into them, I wouldn't have charged that. I wouldn't have known to charge that. I would have said, oh yeah, it'll be I don't know, 4,000 a month. They would have looked at me silly, right? Because what the agencies are charging is so much more. Incidentally, I do think they were being overcharged, and that's in part why they lost the contract. However, they paid it for years. $100,000 a quarter. I mean, I don't know if that's surprising to you, but that's freaking surprising to me. Okay. So what are bad target markets? As long as you've got the right target market, we can find higher paying clients. Bad target markets don't have money. So for any of you who are on this call, I don't know how many of you there are on here who are acting as if you just want to help people. So you are discounting your prices. You're working with people who can't really afford you because you want to help the little guy. That is akin to running an unregistered nonprofit. And there's nothing wrong with helping the little guy. But what we can do to help the little guy is offer on-demand training and free things that they can go read and learn on their own. That's the best way to help the little guy. If any of you follow Alex Hormozi, we are all the little guys to him because his target market is between 1 and 3 million in profit. So for everyone else who's below 1 and 3 million in profit, he just gives them stuff for free because he doesn't want to deal with them, right? He wants to help prepare them to be ready to work with him. He doesn't run an unregistered nonprofit, and neither should you, because that will kill your business. Bad target markets are markets in decline. If you are trying to consult with newspapers or print film, we may have an issue. But I bring this up because as long as you're not working with a market that doesn't have money or isn't in decline, you're probably doing okay. Okay. Most target markets are pretty decent. So you may be at this point wondering, what the hell is a target market? Or I have an idea of what a target market is, but maybe Laura could give me her definition. This is a target market. A target market, very simply, is a self-organizing group of people. A self-organizing group of people. I want you, this may sound obvious or unclear. We're going to get into it. I want you to sear this into your brain, because higher paying clients lie in self-organizing groups of people. Here's what I mean. Self-organizing groups of people include, and here are some examples. I'm going to share the framework as we go forward. Doctors, accountants, lawyers, chemical engineers, car manufacturers. Why are these self-organizing groups? Can anyone, just before I get into it, tell me why I think those are self-organizing groups? Any ideas what that means? Because they identify as such. They see their identity as a part of that group. Yeah. Any other thoughts? This is the difference between, for some people, when they will pick what they think is a target market, which will be like women in business. That's not a target market. That's just like, what does that even mean? You can't find those people. They sell a similar product or service. I'm reading these again. They attend industry functions and look to leaders in that industry for ways to advance their practice. Yep. They chose an industry and that is where they are. Yes. And this is critical for you to understand. Great answers, everyone. Because self-organizing groups are identified by places they like to hang out, which include conferences, associations, meeting spaces, memberships, and publications and podcasts. We are going to dive into this and what it means for your business. But when we talk about a self-organizing group, a target market, you're going to ask yourself, do they have at least 3 of the 4 of these things on this list? And if they don't, we can't target them. It becomes very hard. So 98% of all businesses in the US are small and medium-sized businesses. If anyone here is targeting small and medium-sized businesses, that is part of the problem. This is not a target market. This is the whole enchilada. This is the whole pie. Okay, everyone is in a small and medium-sized business, unless you're the 2% that isn't. So I meet a lot of business owners in my work who say, I target small and medium-sized businesses, which is akin to saying, I just target anyone in the world. And they have a lot of trouble building their business. The problem with going after the whole pie is that it takes more marketing effort. It is my belief, I've seen it with my clients. My clients do very little marketing. I don't want to say they do none, because they do occasionally post on LinkedIn. Some of them send out an email. A lot of them don't. The more targeted your target market, the more specific your market, the less marketing you have to do. Okay. The more specific your market, the less marketing, the less social media posting you have to do. Going after the whole pie, going after the whole market, you look like everybody else in the market who is also really nervous to pick a target market. So y'all look the same. Everyone looks the same in the market. Nobody can tell what's the difference between anyone. And what does that lead to? Commodifying your pricing, which is the most dangerous thing that can happen to anyone. Commodifying your pricing is a race to the bottom in pricing. It means that you cannot charge a premium for your services because you look just like the guy or gal on Fiverr. And why wouldn't I pay somebody in a foreign country $5 to do this when you're asking for $500 to do? Like, it's a disaster. And yes, like I said, race to the bottom pricing. So you might be getting to notice, as I'm talking about target market today, or as I'm talking about finding higher paying clients, a lot of what I'm talking about is target market, because this is so critical. Okay. So how we find higher paying clients, few keys. You got to focus on one market. You may be thinking to yourself, Laura, there's a lot of people I like to work with, and I like to work with different markets, and I like to move around. You can always accept work from other people who come into you from different markets. If, they sound like a cool person you want to work with, you're excited about the project, you can go work with them. But you must focus on a particular market because we have limited time for marketing, we have limited energy for marketing, and we need to focus our efforts. You need to focus on what critical problems you solve for that market. Okay? People buy because they have a problem that you solve. I see a lot of business owners go into the market talking about what they offer without understanding the critical problems that you solve for your target market. And you consistently show up in that market. In fact, number 3 might be the most important thing on this list. It's the right people, the right product, and the right time. This is how we sell. This is how we get higher paying clients. There are people who cannot play the consistency game. They will drop off. They will die off. They will not keep with it. And if you are the one who continues to show up, they will remember you when it is the right time. I cannot overstate how important it is to be consistent. What we're doing as business owners is not something that's going to be solved in 5 minutes. We are playing the long game. Okay, so what your business looks like today, you're going to start implementing, you're going to start implementing what I teach, and you're going to see results over time based on how consistent you are with the efforts we go about today. And you are going to raise your prices because specialization in a market and specialization in what you offer that market is a premium. There is no need to have, if anyone is familiar with the Cheesecake Factory, they have a 30-page menu. You go in there and it's completely exhausting what you're looking at. Nobody needs on this call to have a 30-page menu of services. Okay? You need to offer a few things, maybe up to 3 that you do really well. Maybe it's just 1. Okay? My menu of services, what I do for clients, extremely limited. Extremely limited. And I do really well for myself because I don't offer everything. Because I come to do this one thing. I do this one thing day in and day out. I'm a master of my craft. And guess what? I help people just like you. So I know I can do it. I have complete certainty in the process. The good news about all of this stuff is finding higher paying clients is actually within your control. Okay? All these things that you can focus on will lead to higher paying clients if you pick the right target market. All within your control, not within the control of the market. So this is an example I want to share with you of a client. How focusing on a target market pays. These numbers are not exact. This is from a year ago, so her numbers have actually gone up. But I want to share with you where she started and where we got her to. So she started, or you can start by just having a general thing you do, like she did writing. So what does that mean? Writing ebooks, blogs, social media, websites, menus, it can be writing anything. You can't charge very much for that. So we get a little bit more specific and we say, well, she's going to now focus on copywriting. So she's specializing a little bit in what she does. But now she's just going to do it for businesses. So, okay, so instead of doing B2C, now we're talking about B2B. We can charge a little bit more of a premium. All right, still not enough of a target market. So we go a layer deeper. Copywriting for female entrepreneurs and C-suite. That could be press releases. That could be blog posts. That could be websites. Target market's better, but it's still pretty broad. But you can see at every level, we're charging more. Finally, what we did is I said to her, what do you really love doing? What do you actually really enjoy? She said, Laura, I really like LinkedIn ghostwriting. I said, okay, let's just try just doing that. She's charging over $4,000 a month for it. Okay. This is a person who is earning north of $300,000 a year in their business, doing one thing for one target market really, really well. And if people come into her from outside of that target market and want to work with her, she'll work with them if she likes them. Is this making sense? Dave says, love it. Feels like it should have been obvious. And it's certainly not the way I've oriented my work outreach offering so far. Great. Well, let's talk about it. Yeah. This is gold. I'm so glad. Yeah. This is I was like, when I do this workshop, I'm like, y'all are going to get a treat today. Okay. I'm so glad. Beautiful. I'm so glad. I am so dedicated to helping y'all today. Okay. So good. I'm glad that this is resonating with people. It's not about doing more. It's not about being everything to everyone. It's not about offering a million things. It's about being a freaking craftsperson of what you do really well and love to do and finding people who love to do it. You'll notice in this example we're looking at now on the screen, this is not a mystery. This is not like a mystery market. Sometimes when people think about like going after like higher paying clients, it's like some unicorn, like mythical creature. This is the same freaking market as it was at $2,000 a month. It's not a different market. It's just more specialized. Okay. She just gets honing in, more specialized. Nicole says, I know that niching is my challenge. We're going to talk about it right now. Okay. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about niching your industry in particular. But if we have time, we'll talk more about niching offerings and stuff like that. Okay. So picking a target market is about where we want to spend our precious little time devoting our resources. Y'all may not know this. I am a marketing consultant by trade. I don't want to do marketing for, 6 hours a day for my own business. I don't want to do it. That makes me crazy. I want to go serve clients, as I bet you do too. So I pick a market and I run with it because that's all I want to do. And the more specific I am, the less time I need to spend. First of all, I don't dance on TikTok. Okay, that's not happening. That's like in some private home video stuff. Nobody's ever going to see me dancing. Okay, I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. I don't want to do that stuff. I don't want to post reels. Anyway, corporate clients don't look at that shit. So it's not about that. It's about building relationships. So where are you going to devote your energy? All right. I want you to choose the path of least resistance. We want to ask ourselves right now, how can business be easy? My job as a business coach, when I help my clients grow their business, is I ask them that. How can it be easy? I'm not here to make it complicated for you all. I'm here to take things away and make it easier for you. Take stuff off your plate. If you want to get paid well, if you want to have more clients coming in your doors, and you want to stand out from the competition and not be like on this endless wheel of hamster wheel of marketing, we must pick a target market. We must. Okay, here we go. We're going to identify your target market. I can't wait. And as I tell all of my clients, what we're doing right now, you and we're running an experiment together. Sometimes when we do these types of exercises, it can feel very final. It can feel like very decisive and like, oh my God, I have to change everything now in my life. We are going to run an experiment. We are going to just give ourselves permission right now to try this exercise, see it, how we feel about it, put it on like a new suit or a new dress and say, how does that look? Okay, so we're just going to give ourselves permission. We're not going to be strapped to it forever. So I just say that because sometimes a lot of resistance can come up when you do these exercises. I call this finding the perfect slice of business. Here's how this works. I'm going to walk you through, remember, target market, self-organizing groups of people. I'm going to walk you through several different of the very popular ways that we can find what I call the perfect slice of business, the perfect target market. Okay. I'm going to walk you through these organizing groups. Take note and take a photo if you want. Industry. We can find self-organizing groups, AKA target markets, through industry. We can find them through departments. We can find them through roles or titles. These top three are the most common ways that my clients organize their businesses to get over 20K a month, but there are more. Business events. Those may include sales events, products, new products, updates to products, revamps of products. They can include events, user conferences. They can include internal initiatives. I've made a ton of money off of internal initiatives. They can be mergers, acquisitions, funding, expansion, succession, promotion. These type of events. Why am I bringing up events? Events prompt people to look for help. Okay. If they're looking for help, there are usually concentrated places where people go to look for that help. That's a group. Life events, divorce, marriage, illness, death, moving, starting college, graduation. This may not apply to people in this group. We're doing a lot of B2B stuff, but maybe it does apply to some of you. I don't know. Age of the organization. Are they a startup? Are they a legacy brand? Are they something else? Are they, one of the companies to watch, Fortune 5,000 or whatever they're called? The size of the organization, sometimes correlated to age, but sometimes not. You can have very old organizations. I have a client right now who's working with a 50-year-old organization. They have 20 people. Just kind of depends, okay? So you might just only want to work with companies of a certain size. And the location, and I want to say this, location is really kind of magic. Location is a self-organizing group. Location is a fantastic way to find clients to focus on your area. I have a client right now who is killing it in New York City. I have another client who's focused on Atlanta. When I started my business, I focused on the Metro Detroit area where I'm based. It is a fabulous way to find self-organizing groups, especially if you are not sure who your market is and you're still trying to figure it out. You can organize around a location. Okay. So what does this all mean? So here we go. I love pie. So here are my little slices. Okay. These are all slices of business that you can pick off to choose who to work with. But I want to take it one step further. Creating the perfect slice, you can combine slices. So let me show you what that actually looks like. Okay. I can take an industry slice and an organization slice, and I could create something really special. So I can say my industry is healthcare, and the age of company is startups. So I want to go after healthcare startups. That's a perfect slice. You could also combine a slice. It's like industry and job role. So here you could do finance, industry, and the job role is engineering managers and finance. No, by the way, these are not too niche. Nobody's asked that. They're not. Trust me on this. You could also combine slices by taking a business event and a location. Okay. So you could do right sizing if you're in the HR world, right sizing in the city of Los Angeles. Okay. So these are the ways that you can work these things. Now, here's what we're going to do. Oh, excuse me. I want to give you some examples. All of these examples are clients of mine who are well over $250,000. Many, not many, some of them are double that. Some of them are also close to $1 million. Okay, so we got all kinds of things here. Too broad. Let's look at the left-hand column here. Too broad. What is too broad? I'm an accountant for small businesses. As I already said, I want to hit myself in the head anytime someone says their target market is small businesses. I'm basically on the edge of a brain aneurysm. Okay, that is not a target market. So what we did is we niched her down to, I am a QuickBooks-based accountant. So we got very specific. She wasn't going to do any of the other accounting stuff. For interior design businesses, target market. See, we can see we have one slice there, one industry in Michigan, geolocation. Do you know how well she's doing? She's out of control. She's doing very well. Next, I'm a marketing expert for small and medium-sized businesses. I've already said I can't handle the small and medium-sized business thing. It's not a market. Perfect slice. I build out CRMs to help marketing agencies, industry, that don't have their own marketing team get more leads. She works with, specifically, it's not listed here, but she specifically works with marketing agencies that don't have an internal marketing person for their own business, meaning they are under 10 people. So she does industry and size. Next one, I do branding for mission-driven companies. Okay. Got more specific. She does brand redesigns for credit unions, specific industry. And that is specific enough. She hasn't mixed slices here. It's very, very specific. Okay. They're doing very well. That organization, I think, is approaching, if not over, $1 million in revenue. I do PR for mission-driven companies. Okay, listen, I'm going to lay down the hammer. Mission-driven companies is not a target market. There is no company on this planet that does not have a mission. It doesn't exist. Okay. So every company has a mission. That's not a thing. I don't know what that means, and we cannot target them. And if you're targeting mission-driven companies, you're probably having trouble, and I'm glad you're here. Instead, we switch that to I help nonprofits industry in Southeast Michigan, location, get more attention. Okay, can you see how the slices work together? Can you see how you can combine the slices to make your perfect slice? Now, you don't have to combine slices, but often it's very helpful. The last one, I am a copywriter for small businesses. Okay, I just gave you this example. I am a LinkedIn ghostwriter for women CHROs who want to position themselves as thought leaders. Killing it. So we're going to now do an exercise because I have been talking enough. We're going to find your perfect slice of business. Yep, there's going to be a replay. So let's go through this. I want to put these all out here for you. And I want you to spend the next 5 minutes, and I want you to tell me what you come up with in the chat. What is the slice of business you want to go after? Okay. So let me see if I can. We're going to start now. We'll come back at 50 minutes past the hour. I will be here. I have this like handy dandy timer on Zoom. Of course, I can't figure out how to use it. Oh, that's not. So we'll come back at 5 minutes past. And yeah, Pop, if you have questions, I'm going to go through the questions now and look at them. If you have questions about this, put them in the Q&A. Dave says, I help product leaders at software startups. So product leaders, job role. Software startups. So we have an industry, and then we have a size of industry. Build learning and feedback loops in their product team's delivery processes. Okay, Dave, let me ask you one question. In one sentence, why do you do that? Meaning, what is the biggest problem you solve? Okay, while Dave's answering, I'm going to keep looking at these. Yuval says, I'm not sure how specific this is, but how about life cycle and retention email strategy? Life cycle and retention email strategy. I personally do not know what that means. For B Corp is a type of organization, e-commerce industry brands. Okay, I like the target market. What problem do you solve? Okay, Damien says I do established companies, not startups, in Syracuse, New York. So I love that you've picked a location. I like that you've picked a location. I'd be curious, Damien, I think you did say you had to run. I would be curious to know if you're finding that is specific enough for you. No, Katie, stay on with us. Don't go anywhere. You'll get this half and then we'll send you the replay. Yeah, but okay, so let me go back to this. What is the problem? What do you mean shitty email strategy? When you tell me they have a shitty email, what is the problem they're facing? Why would they hire you? Did they have, for example, their emails have a low open rate? Are they realizing their emails are going into spam? Is nobody clicking on their emails? Like, what is the problem they're solving? Okay, I want everyone to think about this. So everyone has a couple minutes, and let me go to the Q&A here okay, good, Damien, you're still testing. Good, I like it. If Syracuse has money and they've got those established businesses, I don't see why you can't start there. Okay, you've all asked, when you're talking about the location, do you also refer to the location we have displayed on LinkedIn? Doesn't really matter, in my opinion, what the location on LinkedIn is. And my thoughts on how to charge more on a retainer when you feel like you don't have the results to show for it. Ooh, kind of hard. We got to get them results. Or we find new clients who we can charge more. Okay, hang on, y'all. Just going through these. Okay, we've got here, help establish self-coaching. I'm sorry. I must be dyslexic or something. I'm like, am I going blind? I don't mean that as a joke to anyone who's dyslexic. I'm seriously questioning if I am dyslexic. Help establish self-help coaching founders. I don't know, is this a target market? Self-help coaching. Can you find conferences, associations? I'm just asking, Tina, can you find conferences, associations, meetings, meeting places, memberships, publications, and podcasts where established self-help coaching founders hang out? I don't know. Establish a foundation operationally so they can scale. Okay. Dave says the biggest problem here, I love problems because we get to solve them. Teams waste so much time building and launching things that fail. They're not learning and getting the right feedback at the right time in the process. So Dave, does that mean that by working with you, what does that mean? What's the biggest result? Do they fail faster when they work with you? Do they iterate more quickly? Do they save money? Nicole says, I serve industrial manufacturers, industry, like it, who have 1 to 300 employees, company size, like it, in the Mid-Atlantic region, geolocated, love it. I target COO, Director of Ops, and CIO, CTO. Okay, so you also are targeting these specific people in companies with no dedicated innovation department. What problem are you solving? Okay. Yuval says higher click-through rates for starters, but the bigger goal is more sales plus building a tight-knit community. Okay. If any of you have heard this phrase, maybe you haven't heard this phrase. I want to give this all to you because this is going to be helpful for everyone. We have to sell them what they want. We have to sell them what they think their problem is. Okay. What they think their burning problem is what we need to sell. So the phrase is sell them what they want, give them what they need. So you're going to sell them in the language that helps them understand you understand the problem they think they have. I have a lot of people, this webinar is a great example. A lot of people think there is, and I'm not saying this is anyone in this group, but sometimes there's a lot of misconceptions around what does it mean to find a higher paying client, right? People don't always get what that means. So if I said, but they're very interested in finding higher paying clients. So I've created a webinar to help you find higher paying clients, but I'm talking about target market because it's what you really need. It's what you really need. But if I said, oh, here, pick a target market, would any of you be here? Probably not. It's not that interesting for people when they think about it, but it is the key to finding higher paying clients. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Damien, I know you're not here, but in the replay, he says, I've always struggled to pick a niche and I really prefer to work locally. Boyfriend, do it. I love it. Okay. Josh says, I help SaaS companies redesign their products to go from 6-figure revenue to 7 figures. SaaS companies. Okay. So you have an industry, might be broad, but if you feel like that's working for you, good. I like it. Okay. We've got here, Nicole says they suck at innovation processes and mainly have, you guys are really cracking me up, and mainly have innovation theater. I haven't heard of that. A lot of ideas, but no actual implementation or impact. Okay. I want to hear how they talk about that problem. I love that. I like where you're going. I want to hear how they describe the problem. You're welcome, Damien. I'm a fractional CMO for independent retailers industry, looking to increase revenue by increasing their e-commerce presence. Cool. I love that, Angie. That's great. Tina, going back to the coach thing, says, I feel like coach is too broad, but I love working with online coaches. Okay, if they have money and you can go find them, we're going to talk about that in a second. All right. Okay, y'all, I'm going to have to get back to this. I'll try to get to these other questions in a second and comments, but I want to make sure we get through the content because I'm just looking at the time. Okay. For those of you, this really goes to what Damien was saying, having trouble picking a market. If you're experiencing having trouble picking a market, I want to run through another quick exercise. This, for those of you who are listening right now, this just might be a gut check on what you just wrote. So we're going to go through it really quickly. Here's what I want you to do. Pen and paper or write it. Actually, no, don't do this in chat. It'll get really confusing. Write your result in chat. I want you to write out a maximum of 3 answers for each of these questions. What groups of people do I have the most connections in? Give me up to 3 answers. Like Yuval, I have the most connections in e-commerce. Okay. I have the most connections in, industrial stuff. I have the most connections with this industry, or that write down where are the most connections, just top of your mind. Okay. What groups of people am I most excited to work with? What groups of people am I most excited to work with? It could be the same people, the same groups. If it's the same groups, good. If it's not the same groups, okay, that's fine too. But what groups? Right up to 3. What groups of people do I have the most knowledge about? Again, you may see yourself repeating the same answers. That is normal if you're repeating the same answers or similar answers. If you're all over the place, that can be challenging, but we'll talk about it. What groups of people do I want to learn more about? Okay, so what are you interested in? What groups of people are able to pay me? Again, I don't want anyone running an unregistered nonprofit, not on my webinar. Okay, not today, Satan. So these are the 5 questions. What are your top 3? Tell me in the chat, what are your top 3? Because those top 3, if you have, maybe you're like, I just have 1. Cool. That's all good. Your top 3 are going to be really key indicators of the target markets that you're most well suited to work with. There are people who come in to work with me who have no experience in a target market whatsoever. And they say, well, I've never done this. Can I work with this market? I have no connections. Can I work with this market? The answer is yes. How much time do you have? You can always work with a target market that you have no connections in, no experience with, but the question is always going to be, how much time do you have? Because if you have no connections with that market, it is going to take you more time. And by more time, it could be 6 months to a year. Okay, I just want to be honest with y'all. Great. Okay, these are good. Good. Okay. And if there's a new target market that you're like, actually, I want to work with this different market that I don't work with today, then I want you to consider making enough money with your current target market to afford you the time to explore a new one. Because the worst thing that can happen in business is we try to go after a brand new target market without having our income stabilized. And you know what happens? We freak out because it becomes realizing is harder than we think. Okay. So I don't want that to happen to anyone. I love it. As you are coming up with answers, please pop them in the chat here and we will continue. I'll continue to look at them. Okay, cool. I want to talk to you about camp. This is really important. I've been alluding to it, but this is super important. Camp is self-organizing groups of people have places where they hang out. I call these camps. Okay. So this is a concept I teach my clients. It is a concept I've created. Camps stands for conferences, associations, meeting places and memberships, and publications and podcasts. You're going to validate your target market by taking your target market to camp. I'm going to ask you if you can take your target market to camp. And by that, I mean, can you find conferences, associations, meeting places and memberships, and publications and podcasts where these people hang out and do their thing? That is extremely important. Remember, I said, I don't want you spending 1 million freaking hours posting on LinkedIn. Why the heck would we do that? Rather, we're going to go to the places where these self-organizing groups of people already hang out. We are going to take our target market to camp. And if you can find conferences, associations, meeting places and memberships, and publications and podcasts where they hang out, we're in good shape. If you cannot, we have to refine the market, okay? So I want you to really think about this. If for those of you who are listening, and you don't have to have all 4 categories, some of them are a little redundant at times. It depends on the industry. So you might be like, well, they have an association, but they don't have a membership. Okay, it's cool. They have an association. Cool. Or they have a conference, but they don't have an association, or, whatever. That's okay. But we want to find like 3 of the 4. It's really important. Meeting places can also be meeting places online. Meeting places can be like groups they hang out in, or masterminds that they're a part of, or, like I have people come into my mastermind to give talks that I think would be relevant to my audience. That's like a meeting place, right? Okay. Danielle says, yes, I just joined the Professional Women's Group of Chicago. I'm thinking of joining an executive club. So yeah, you're targeting Chicago. Good. Anyone else? For your target market, can you just come up with some ideas off the top of your head? If you take the target market to camp, can you just think of conferences, associations, meeting places, and publications? Let me know what you come up with. Dave, I hear you. Good, Nicole. Okay. So Dave, the question for you is going to be, where are those people hanging out? What rooms are they in? I like that everyone's coming up with some ideas here. I love this. Okay. You want to really put your foot on the gas of camp. And by that, I mean, I want to see like as many places as you can find. If you can find 12 places, if you can find 20 places, good. Okay. That's good. Now there's a flip side to this. If you can't find anything to fill out camp, then you don't have a well enough defined target market. Very simple. It's just the target market needs more help. Okay. You're going to keep refining it. The other problem can be this, and this has happened to one of my clients in the past. She was overwhelmed with possibilities for camp. She wanted to work with AI and she was completely overwhelmed. She was like, there's a million AI this and AI that. And, it was just like crazy. And so I said, it's not well enough to find. We need to find the perfect slice, which means we need to combine slices. We need to put two things together. Maybe it's AI in this industry. Maybe it's AI in this city. Maybe it's AI in this size of company. Okay. So if you're like overwhelmed with options, we also have a target market problem. It's too broad. We have all heard, or many of us, I don't know how old everyone is here, but I certainly grew up with this. If you build it, they will come. Listen, that's a big fat lie. Okay. Do not believe this. If we are not going to get into this type of thing, if you build it, they will not come. If you build it, you will spend a billion fucking years building a community and you will be miserable. Instead, what we are going to do is we are going to go where they have built. Do not build it and they will come. Go where they have already built it. That is why camp is so important. That is why finding a self-organizing group of people is so critically important. Sorry, guys. This is why finding a self-organizing group of people is so critically important. Because if you try to build communities instead of going where they've built, you will kill yourself on the wheel of marketing, hamster wheel of marketing. Okay. We're not doing that. We are not going to be posting and praying for business either. Okay. We are not doing that. Social media marketing does not get you clients. It gets you awareness. What you do with that awareness is what is going to get you clients. I see a lot of people say, I'm posting all the time on social media and it's like people are trickling in, but some months are really unstable. And I'm not finding months. That is because this is the least effective way to find clients. The most effective way to find clients is through direct outreach, period. End of story. That's it. Direct outreach. What does direct outreach come through? Cold outreach, warm outreach, referrals. That's how you find clients, not through social media posting. I am telling you, I mean, you can do this stuff, but it's going to take you a while and it's going to be inconsistent. We just want to go where they already hang out. Again, I know I'm like beating the drum here, but that's why we go places. That's why we have camp. That's why we go take our target market to camp to ensure that it's a self-organizing group. I want you on the stage at those camp activities. I want you on those podcasts, right? I want you as them being your referral partners to get you business. I want you hosting, sponsoring their events, showing up at their events. This is literally how I've grown my business. I don't grow my business through posting on social media. I post on social media because I can't shut up and I just love talking. Okay. Apparently that's my problem. That's not how I grow my business. I grow my business through camp activities and direct outreach. And that's how everyone does it as well. By the way, people will tell you you need marketing. You don't need that much marketing. All right. Camp is great because it validates your target market exists and can be reached. Again, like I want to just really hone in. If you cannot find camp activities, if you cannot take your target market to camp, we're dead in the water. We got to get clearer. And it will give us opportunities to speak, write, present, teach, be featured in front of our market. Critically important because there is something called a transfer of trust. So people buy according to the amount of trust we have earned with them, and trust is earned at different rates with different people. But the best transfer, if I get a transfer of trust from an organization or from an individual who they respect, deal's closed, done. We've made a sale. It is so easy to sell. And it is easy to sell. By the way, it's not harder to sell a $100,000 package than it is to sell a $25,000 package. Please disabuse yourself of that notion. It is not harder. Okay. I'm so glad, Nicole. So who do you reach out to? Because I promised you I'm going to teach you who to reach out to. All right. Well, I found this at 11 o'clock last night. It just really made me laugh. People often want to know, like, who is exactly the right person that I need to talk to? Like, where do I find them? I'm going to give you some ideas, but let me explain this to you first. If we just pull out lists of people to reach out to, we end up with this. This is my spam folder. I pulled this up last night. Okay. You need more than just names and emails of people to reach out to. You need to develop champions within an organization. So I want to say this in particular, Dave, when you're talking about your problem of like, I need to reach out to these certain types of people. You need champions within the organization to make those introductions. In many cases, not always, but in many cases, they need to be advocates for you. Champions will speak your name in the rooms you are not in. They will get your proposals approved by people you may never meet. Because if you are doing, especially for those of you who are doing consulting with very large organizations, some of you may have heard the term called an economic buyer. This is the person who like signs the contract. Back in the day, it was really common for there to be one quote unquote economic buyer in a large organization. Today, there may be a dozen. When I have worked with Fortune 500 companies, my proposal has gotten passed through different groups, different people in the C-suite. It went that high because it was quite a bit of money. I never met these people. Okay. I had to have a champion who believed enough in me, who helped me get that through. And they will refer you to people in your market if they're not inside the company already. So important. So champions, for example, is how my one client landed a $14,000 a month retainer with 0 internal contacts. It is how champions will regularly send high qualified leads to one of my clients who does strategic planning for nonprofits. Her deals are between $50,000 to $60,000. Champions are what are currently helping one of my clients sign a $100,000 government contract. Even though we thought the contract was kind of not moving forward, they've been championing it behind the scenes. We just found that out this week. And champions are what landed me a $15,000 speaking engagement from someone who just like heard me speak on a podcast, a camp activity. Okay. Finding champions is easier with a clear target market. Internal champions need to feel like you really get them and their problems. Your work is extremely well suited to solving their problems. You have credibility markers that make you look legit. You appear like you're quote unquote everywhere in their ecosystem and impossible to ignore. How does this happen? This happens by picking a clear target market. You know, if you pick a geolocated target market and you show up at a few of the events in that location, people are going to think you're everywhere. You're not. You're just being smart about your time. None of this can happen if your target market is too broad. External champions need to easily understand what you do in one sentence, because you cannot get work if you cannot explain what you do in one sentence clearly and easily. Okay, so there's multiple kinds of champions, but we're going to build your list right now. Okay, so what I want to do is I want you to spend 5 minutes doing this. Who do you know in your target market that you need to reach out to? Just start building a list. Who do you know? Go to LinkedIn, go to your emails. Who do you know in your target market that you need to reach out to? Who do you know or could you reach out to in your camp? Who do you know? Who runs an event? Who's that person who's connected to all the cool events? Who's that dude who runs that podcast that you forgot about or you met at an event? Put them on the list. Okay, spend 5 minutes doing this. Who do you know that is related to your target market or does business with your target market that you can reach out to? Our business, y'all, is relationship building. That's why we have to first rely on the people we know, and then we can do cold outreach. We're going to start here. Okay. And who can you build second degree connections with on LinkedIn that's in your target market? So like Dave, for you, for example, if you want to meet some of those VPs, I would be connected with all the individuals I've worked with. I'd start looking at their second degree or their first degree connections, your secondary connections, who are those VPs. I would start connecting. I would just start it that way. This is the long game, y'all. This is not like an overnight thing. I love that quote. I think it's from Mel Robbins, who said something like an overnight success is 10 years in the making. And we all suddenly learn about these people and they're like, hey, I've been at this for years. Where have you been? That's what our businesses are like. These are marathons. We just got to keep at it. So we'll go till 15 minutes past here. I want you to get a few names on that list because these are people you're going to reach out to. And then let me know in the chat how many names you come up with. I'd love to hear if you have any questions about this or are unsure, let me know. We only have 2 questions in the Q&A, and I think I've answered them both. So if there are more questions, come on through, y'all, because we're going to spend the rest of this time, for the most part, we're going to have like 10 minutes for questions at the end. So I want to make sure we get them answered. Katie says, I've got a handful that I should probably get coffee with soon anyway. Yep. But I also have a long list of clients from my VA agency. Go for it, girl. Best source of new revenue is past clients. The best. If y'all have not reached out to no, I'm not talking about nightmare clients. Forget them. But if y'all have ideal clients you've worked with in the past, go reach out. Okay. Say hello. How you doing? What's new? In my world, what I have my clients do, I am having them reach out to at minimum 3 people a day. This is especially as they are growing their businesses to 20K. I want you reaching out. Your business needs to be business development. That's your business. Don't worry about the posting. Don't worry about the dancing on TikTok. Don't worry about the reels. Don't worry about the Instagram. You can do that once in a while. We need some of it. We need to show like you're a living, breathing human being. You don't need to do it nearly as much. You need to do outreach. So critically important. Okay. Katie's got a handful. Who else has got a few on there? How many do you have? Your goal is to reach out to these people. That's what y'all should be doing. Listen, here in the United States, we've got Labor Day coming up this weekend. First thing I'd be doing next week, I'd be building your list. That's exactly what I'd be doing right now. I'd be building your list today, tomorrow, Friday. I would be putting my foot on the gas of outreach, because for those of you in the United States who know, between Thanksgiving and New Year, forget it. Okay. That's not time to do business. Business is done right now. And in fact, hopefully most of you have been doing business development and outreach so that you have stuff lined up for the fall, because that's a great summertime activity. Nicole says, 12 podcasts I want to connect with, 67 first degree connections on LinkedIn. That's what I'm talking about, girlfriend. Go for it. Yuval, 6. Yuval, I want to see a 0 behind that 6. How are you going to get to that? This number I'm suggesting, you're going to add 2 a day. Okay. 2 a day, you'll get there in a month. You do 3 a day, you'll get there faster. We're going to keep adding. Katie says, how do we open the outreach like without feeling salesy? I suck at self-promotion. Katie, I have a program called Cold Outreach Cure that teaches you exactly how to do that. It's $27 and it's on my website. It'll teach you exactly what to do and what to say. I would go into it now, but I want to make sure we reserve the questions for stuff about finding higher paying clients. Okay. We're going to move forward. All right. So today what we have done, I didn't tell you this at the beginning, but I'm telling you now, today what we've done is we've really focused. This is the Elevate method. This is the methodology I created to help my clients get to 250 a year and beyond. We focused on this red circle part here that you see, which is target market. There is, as you can tell, a lot more to the process, meaning finding ideal clients, picking a target market, niching down your products and services, knowing how to talk about yourself in ways that are highly compelling, validating your offer, building out your referral wheel and trust building activities and outreach, validating our offer again, because we typically have to do it more than once, knowing how to have those super simple sales conversations, knowing how to create your pricing. We talked a little bit about that at the start of the hour, but really understanding what's the right pricing for your market and how do you walk through the proposal process, because it is different if you're working with large organizations. How to deliver on what you offer and client management and case studies and asking for referrals. So today we've done target market. I hope that I have delivered on that for you. I hope that you're feeling more confident today about finding higher paying clients.